Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Monday Lunchtime Digest for August 11th, 2025. And I am here alone today. So Haley is out ill. We wish her a speedy recovery. I took lots of notes, so hopefully I can remember to say everything since I don't have my sidekick here with me today. So I know what is on the agenda. We have a lot of things on the agenda, but thing that people are wondering about are the recent rule changes by the Oklahoma Board of Behavioral Health Licensure. And so if we look at this was on August 8th that the Oklahoma Board of Behavioral Health Licensure voted to change some rules as mainly regarding supervision. And so you can find that in an article here that Haley wrote. She attended the board meeting. And so looking at some of the things that they are looking at changing is removing requirements for candidates to have a designated on-site supervisor. So of course, that would then also eliminate the need for supervisors to contact the on-site supervisor every 6 months. The reasoning behind that, from hearing Haley report back, was that times have changed, and so candidates are doing supervision online, and so they may not have a place that they go to that would require on-site supervision. So they're just trying to update the rules with changes in technology. Also, the board voted to remove the requirement for licensure supervisors to review 2 recorded or live sessions every 6 months. And last, looking at the supervisor being on call 24 hours per day to the supervisee, looking at removing that and only requiring supervisors to be on call during times that their candidates are rendering services. So they voted on approving these rule changes, but it's important to note that these do not immediately go into effect. And so there's a process that is required for rules to go into effect. They have to be approved by the legislature and also signed by the governor. And so just to kind of talk a little bit about that. So going to the handy dandy Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority. So they have this nice graphic that's up that explains this in more detail. And so looking at being here at step 2. And so step 1, that was already taken care of whenever the board was created. So the legislature gave them a power to make rules. And so this then drafting these rules would be step 2 from my understanding. Step 3, that the executive director has to approve it and then has to go to governor, cabinet secretary, rulemaking, public comment. So there's still a step for public comment. So again, these do not immediately go into effect. There is a time for public comment. So if you disagree with these rule changes, you'll have a chance to express that. Public hearing, considering rule changes, and then get submitted to the legislature and then ultimately signed by the governor. So we are only in step 2 of potentially an 11-step process. So again, these do not immediately go into effect, but it's good to know what the board is looking at and what's coming up. Because I think, as I mentioned time before, that times in the past we've been blindsided by changes, either Oklahoma Board of Behavioral Health, but more importantly by legislation that we've been blindsided by. So it's important for us to know what's coming up. But for now, keep doing what you're doing. Don't do anything different with your supervisee. Keep going by the present rules and keep an eye out for these possible changes. And here at OCI, we will let you know where we are in this process so that you'll know if you have a public comment that you would like to make. We'll let you know when that comes up so that you can express either your elation at the changes or your concerns about the changes, but we will let you know where we are in that process. The other thing that OCI has been first to report was some of the interim changes that came up. So whenever we look at the interim changes, looking at specifically the looking at my notes here, looking at the Senate Interim Study 25-077, which was submitted by Senator Rosino and Senator Pugh, and it was simply entitled Medical Licensure Boards. And then the description was consolidating various boards. And so OCI reached out to Senator Rosino's office, and they confirmed that the Oklahoma Board of Behavioral Health Licensure, the Oklahoma State Board of Licensed Social Workers, and the Oklahoma Board of Alcohol and Drug Counselors would be considered in that study as being medical boards that may be consolidated. So again, just keeping that on our radar. We've talked about it in Monday Lunchtime Digest in the past, but if you'd like to reach out to Senator Rosino and just simply, very matter of factly, tell them that you heard that Interim Study 25-077 is looking at consolidating boards and that you would be happy to provide any information that they may need in their study, and just be very kind, but matter of fact. But it also helps them to know that this is on our radar and that as a profession, we're watching this. You most likely will not get a reply back, but that's not atypical, but still know that this is being registered, that they know that this is on our radar. Another interim study that is coming up is interim study from the House, which is 25-018, which is from Representative Rosecrans. And so Representative Rosecrans is looking at how managed care is doing in managing the Oklahoma Medicaid program. And so looking at just how he has described that. Sorry, my page is reloading here. Looking at the provider's perspective on how the program is working, the MCO perspective, which is the managed care organization, looking at Oklahoma Department of Mental Health, Oklahoma Healthcare Authority, and patient perspective. And so if you have any thoughts about that, then you may email Representative Rosecrans and just let him know, again, very matter of factly, your thoughts about your experiences as a provider or as a patient of the program. And try to be as specific as possible. You know, we don't want to just email them and say, hey, it's horrible, it needs to be completely trashed, but trying to be very specific in what some of your pain points are. And so they may not be able just to completely get rid of it altogether, but what they may be able to do then is to bring up legislation that helps to iron out some of those pain points. And so let him know specifically what those things are so that he can have that information. And again, if you'd like to offer yourself as being a resource for information, then you can do that, you know, for him as well. Also looking at some of the things that, some recent articles that we have is that the counseling compact. And so I know everyone's been really eager to hear about that. And so our own Amanda Beck recently wrote an article about the counseling compact. And so you can read that here. Right now, Oklahoma is not one of the first ones that is going to be included in the first phase of implementation. So it's going to be a little bit for us before we're able to be part of that. But here you can get information and then get links to where you can find more information about the counseling compact. But for right now, sit tight. We're not in the first group that is going to go through the implementation. Also, I know everyone, we've been hearing about Ryan Walters and everything going on with him. And so recently the Oklahoma Voice wrote an article talking about the incident and looking at how Speaker Hilbert had reached out to Samsung himself along with another Oklahoma State employee and found out from their records what was showing. And I'm sure everyone's heard this ad nauseum at this point, but found out it was this old Jackie Chan movie that was showing. And so that was from Speaker Hilbert's own investigation. But as far as the official investigation by the Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office and the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, that is still ongoing. And so, you know, they may come to similar findings, they may come to different findings, but just know that right now the investigation is still ongoing. And I think as I listened to some of the news things over the weekend where these bizarre things may happen. So even if this was just a mistake that it just showed, it was just really a bad coincidence that happened to come up at all, but certainly during a board meeting, that people are concerned about Ryan Walters' response to that and him calling the board members liars and that it was this big conspiracy theory and stuff like that. But whatever your view is on that, the thing that I know that we had talked about this last week, and I just wanted to emphasize that the investigation is still ongoing at this time. So some of the other things that we have going on is that we have our fall and winter training dates are up. So you'll want to save the dates, and we have that here on our webpage as well. So Friday, September 5th is our first training day. So yes, this is on a Friday. So I know typically we have done things on Saturdays. We are experimenting with doing things on Fridays now. So these will be live webinars. These will not be in person, but they will be live webinars. And so you can sign up for these. And then we also have ones going in October, November. So Fridays in October, the first Friday in October, and then a Saturday in November. And then we have our winter webinar weekend that starts December 4th, 5th, and 6th, during which we will be showing a lot of live webinars at that time. But Haley's been working very, very hard on getting our speakers lined up for these, and registration is opening up. So we have them opened up for our first one here in September, which is going to be exploring crisis stabilization and higher levels of care. So that will be in the morning on Friday, 5th, 2025. And so this is with Mr. Colin Turpin, who is going to be giving that. And you can learn more about this at counselinginstitute.org. And then our afternoon one will be on ethics and cultural competency and working with clients who identify as a Muslim. And so we're really excited to have that one as well. So you can check this out at counselinginstitute.org, and you can sign up for those two now, and then keep a lookout, because our other courses, live webinars, registration will be coming up soon. Also, looking at Whimsical Wednesday. So we had Whimsical Wednesday recently. Had a really, really good time doing that. So we got to go to the study, and I was trying to bring up my pictures for Whimsical Wednesday. All right, well, I may not be able to bring them up as quickly as I want. So you guys that were with us, maybe you won't get your pictures shown right now. But anyway, we had a really, really good time on Whimsical Wednesday. No, I found you after all. So if you haven't been to the study, it's really a neat place. It has really nice ambiance with books all around, little nooks to get into that you can have quiet conversations with people. And so it was really great meeting with these other mental health providers and just talking about what they're doing in their work. And then, of course, we didn't talk about work at all on some occasions, talking about kids and other things. And Allison here, she was the winner of our free continuing education. So she won the game that we had for that day. And so it was just a really, really good time. So be on the lookout for our next Whimsical Wednesday, which will be September 3rd from 5:30 to 7 p.m. So it's the first Wednesday of the month, and it will be at someplace completely different. So keep an eye out for where we will pick next. This last time we had it at the study. The time before we had it at the Flashback Retro Pub, which was really, really fun. And then the very first time we had it at Prairie Artisan Ale. And so keep a lookout for wherever we end up having our next Whimsical Wednesday. And again, mark your calendar for September 3rd from 5:30 to 7 p.m. All right. I think I have talked pretty much about everything that I have on the list. One of the things I do want to emphasize, though, is that there is so much going on all the time that we just don't have enough time to talk about. And so if you haven't already, want to check out our Facebook page or our LinkedIn page, because yours truly gets up every single morning with his cup of coffee and his dog and goes through and looks at news stories that are pertinent for Oklahoma mental health professionals, and then post those on our social media. And so when you go through here, you'll see all types of articles going on, that OKC diversion, rapid exit program to avoid homelessness. I mean, all types of articles going on that there's just not enough time for us to talk about on Monday Lunchtime Digest. So certainly go to our Facebook page, check it out every single morning, because there will be new stories that are on the Facebook page or on your LinkedIn page every morning, articles that I have gone through, searched the interweb myself, and have gone through and posted on our Facebook pages, because we're here to keep you informed about what's going on with Oklahoma mental health and what is going on at Edmond Counseling and Professional Development. I think most people know we have our Smart Family and Friends. So if you have someone who is, as a family member, that is dealing with addiction of some sort, and they need support is based off the craft curriculum, you can send them to Smart Family and Friends. And so it's a free support group for obviously family and friends, and it's hosted in person up here at our office in Edmond and also online. So it's a hybrid format. And then, of course, we also have Smart Recovery as well, which is an alternative to AA that's based on cognitive behavior therapy. And you can learn more about both of those at smartedmond.com. Also here at Edmond Counseling Professional Development, we are doing organizational wellness training. So if your organization could use some wellness trainings, then reach out to us. You can contact us at hello@edmondcounseling.com or 405-440-3034 and ask us about those organizational wellness programs for us to be able to bring them to your organization. The other thing that we do here at Edmond Counseling Professional Development, besides counseling, is career assessment. So if you have a client that just doesn't know what direction that they want to do in their career, or a family member or friend that is unsure, this is for ages 18 and up. And so it's for your older adolescents, your young adults that are looking at maybe what should they pick to study in college or trade school, or for maybe someone that is midway through their career and looking for a career change. You can send them here to Edmond Counseling and Professional Development, and we can do a career assessment for them. So it is a 2-session process that we meet with them, and we use evidence-based measures to help find out what their interests are and to give them a better direction on which way that they might want to go in their career. So you can learn all about our services at edmondcounseling.com. All right, so as everyone knows, if you've been watching us before, then we have a question of the day. And so when you answer the question of the day, whenever you comment in our comment section, you like or share this post, then you're entered into a drawing to win free continuing education. So our winner for last week is Beth O'Donnell. So congratulations, Beth, on winning continuing education. And so reach out to us at hello@edmondcounseling.com or 405-440-3034, and just let Haley know what on-demand continuing education course that you'd be interested in taking. We'd be happy to assign that to you, to register you in that for free. So again, congratulations, Beth O'Donnell. And so our question for this week is, what song always puts you in a good mood? And so if Haley were here, I'd be really curious to know what Haley would say. But what song always puts you in a good mood? And so the song for me that always puts me in a good mood is Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the Waves back in the 1980s. You can't listen to that song without getting in a good mood. So that is my song that always puts me in a good mood. So we'd love to hear from you. What is a song that always puts you in a good mood? And again, anytime that you tell someone about our services, you come to one of our on-demand trainings, you come to a in-person training, you watch a live webinar, you tell a colleague about us, you like a post, any of those things helps us to meet our mission of providing quality continuing education in Oklahoma, as well as providing pertinent news and information for Oklahoma mental health professionals. So thank you guys so much for your support, and we will see you next time. All right, bye everyone. Have a good week.